Q&A. An executive secretary plays an integral I'm so sorry. Okay, integral role to any executive board. Beyond taking the minutes, what is the role of the executive secretary, and what is the most important quality behind a successful secretary?
Okay, I might forget the question between while I'm answering, so I'm sorry if I ask again. But I think one of the most important things for an executive secretary to do is to maintain a schedule so that the rest of e-board and like GBMs can run smoothly. Because without like the schedule and the structure that Ellie or the executive position provides, then APSA can't run as smoothly, and it can't give all the other things that it has to offer, like the social, like cultural, like all the other things that people need to talk about and people have opinions on, like, yeah. And then, sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes. So the second part was, what is the most important quality behind a successful secretary?
Okay. I just think that like time management and the organization is like that's the main goal of executive secretary, so that everything else can be good and everyone else can do their own thing without having to try to catch up with like the schedule if it's unorganized or if things aren't going well. Like, it's very important to have like that goal of everything being ready for everyone else to do. I think it's a very important role, like in general in APSA, because it is a lot of behind the scenes work that like GBMers don't see, but they experience.
The second question is, the executive secretary position is not responsible for coordinating any big events like some other positions. Knowing this, how will you expand upon your role beyond what is stated in your bylaws?
I think just letting everyone in like exec board know that I am available to like help with other things, and like I do have experience in other things. Like I said, I was treasurer in my ASB, so I can help finance and I've also had a lot of experience in like leadership in ASB in general, like planning events. Like we had like a middle school conference in high school. Sorry, I'm referencing it a lot, but like that's like where I take most of like like my identity as a leader. It came a lot from like high school, so I let them know like my experience in the past and letting them know that I am there for whatever they need, because I think e-board is a lot just about it's just a lot about support of one another, and APSA in general also. Just letting GBMers and e-board members alike know that like we're here for them, and like I'm gonna do whatever I can to make your life easier, and I like know that they do the same for me.
The third question is, taking minutes is your primary responsibility and way of keeping e-board organized. How will you ensure that your fellow board members will stay on top of reading them?
I think just making it super accessible for them. Like, I think that we all know that college students are like kind of lazy, but like we also work very hard on other things, but just making everything easy for them to access and like very not complicated for them to do at all, so they don't really like have an excuse not to do them. And it's not like I would expect them to like make this perfect summary of like what they do every day, like minute by minute. Like I just want a general summary, and like keeping in contact and communicating with all e-board members. Whether it's just like social, being, oh, like what are you doing today, or stuff like that, I think is probably like the easiest way for the executive secretary to keep track of what all e-board members are doing.
Fourth question, executive secretary has to constantly focus during all events and be able to be very early so other board members can do their task. How would you be able to do that?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
The executive secretary has to constantly focus during all events and be able to be very early so other board members can do their task. How would you be able to do that?
I think it's like the same thing as before, just like letting e-board members know that you are available for them, and like making sure that they know that ahead of the time before like they stress out about like, oh, like is this person going to be here on time? Do I have to focus on what they have to do before what I have to do? And I'm also like an obsessive planner. Like I plan out my day like minute by minute, as I said in my speech, but it's kind of crazy. But I think I would just make sure that like I know exactly what's ahead of me, and like make sure I know what's going on in that specific event, and like and in e-board meetings, like I'll know what each person is doing at these events so that I can educate myself before, so that I like know what I'm supposed to do for them as well as like what they're supposed to be doing.
Thank you.